Yo, just a quick heads up, this video is a bit louder than I was hoping for it to be, so if you're like my grandma or if you're wearing headphones, just maybe turn down the volume a little bit. I've got a question for everyone watching this video, and that question is, have you ever thought of what car to drive when you're older, but realized that literally all of those are out of your budget by like a kidney? Well, boy, do I have an answer for you. This is the first generation Renault Twingo, and your first instinct looking at this car would be something like, this looks like a huge rust bucket, and you would be absolutely right. But believe me, after watching this video, you will see this car and every other rust bucket under $1,000 from a completely different lens. Now I know what you're saying, I don't want a junk car as my first one, I want something cool I'll remember forever. Well, that something cool will also have you sliding into a tree and getting financially screwed, because believe me, you will not be prepared for the power in those things. It's just way better of a choice to start with a car the dimensions of a shopping cart, because you will learn how to drive properly at speeds that won't turn you into a bunch of free organ donations. Plus, what more memorable of a first car do you need than this? Just look at him, he looks so innocent. Now, if you already own a first car, then just ignore everything I said. Because for you, I think the car might be useful as a project car to kind of get the hang of working with engines or just basic car maintenance. But that only really affects or interests you if you actually are into cars, and in that case you likely already have a car to do projects on. The second reason speaking for you getting a rust bucket on wheels is this status. Be honest, why do you think the stereotype exists of the bigger your truck is, the smaller your meat is? And why do people not just in America but also in Europe just buy these massive SUVs to drive them alone 90% of the time on roads that look like this? It's because cars are a thing that can show other people how much cooler and more successful you are than them. Therefore, buying and driving this just tells everybody I don't care a single bit about showing myself off. And that actually perfectly transitions to my next point, and that's the amount of motion you get in this car. A lot of people will tell you that if you want to pick up a lot of girls at a club or at a house party, you have to pull up in like a BMW or some other really expensive car. But I just think that that is so lame. Like, be so for real with yourself. If you need like a BMW to pull, maybe you're not that interesting as a person? Question mark? But there is a problem with this car, because unfortunately, they never sold this car in the US. So what do you do if you're a majority of my viewers? I don't know. You guys have cars in the super cheap range too, right? Like, I mean, my biggest annoyance with those best cars for teens videos is that all those cars may be super cool and super cheap in the States, but I don't live there! And so all of us Europeans just have to look for those cheap cars by ourselves, and I think that's actually a better way to do it. Because when you finally find that rust bucket, you know, that shit box that's yours, and finally buy it, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, damn, I'm really a broke bitch. And I mean, those videos of best cheap first cars do exist for Europeans too, but they usually just tell you to buy the most boring NPC white bread type of car, and so you just gotta look for those bangers yourself. And that's where the Renault Twingo comes in. Does it have a sunroof and the seat print from a bus seat? Absolutely. But you can also just fold down all 4 seats into a bed for like no reason at all. Now, there is a community behind the famous Renault Twingo. I know, if this car has a fan base, anything can have a fan base. But the difference between other cars becoming hyped is that, well, other cars really get hyped for having really luxurious interior or having some really desirable feature. The Twingo, on the other hand, is literally known for just being old, rusty, and cheap. So instead of the car's value going up, it doesn't really change or go down because of the hype. But nevertheless, I can still get why not many people end up buying this car in the end, because it does have a really cute design, but that's just not really enough for some people. I mean, some of these cars are turning 36 years old. They're clearly starting to show their age. And so for some people, that's just a huge deal break. They made a new one. The new and improved version of the first Renault Twingo features some amazing things like no ability to turn the seats into a bed, no cool sunroof, and it's cool, guys. Listen, I'm not gonna say that this car is just straight up terrible, because it is a small electric car for the city, something that can be appreciated because no one does that anymore. Apparently other car brands just hate small things. And on top of that, the car is actually decently affordable. But like, way to take an old car and strip it of some of its features that were real fun, man. Again, the new version is a great homage to the old model, but they just likely couldn't fit those quirks into the tight price tag that they gave this car. But even with that, it's still living on the legacy of a true legend. So moral of the story, if Renault can listen to its customers and actually make cars people want to buy, then maybe French cars aren't actually that bad.